Fall is here, which means pumpkin spice lattes, football, and of course another Windows update. And this year, we get Windows 11 25H2, the update that Microsoft swears isn't a big deal. But in reality, it decides if your PC keeps getting updates or gets shoved onto the
July 2025. HP CEO Enrique Lores makes an announcement that sends Microsoft into emergency crisis mode. HP is eliminating Windows as the default operating system on all consumer PCs, effective September 2025. Not reducing Windows, not offering Linux as alternative, eliminating Windows as default entirely. Every HP consumer laptop and desktop will ship with Linux pre-installed. Customers wanting Windows must specifically request it during purchase and pay $120 premium. This reverses 40 years of PC industry standard. For 4 decades, Windows came default. Alternatives were specialty options. HP just flipped that completely. Linux is now standard. Windows is the specialty option you pay extra for. HP's reasoning is unambiguous. Their internal data shows 73% of consumers who bought Linux PCs in the past year rated satisfaction as excellent. Only 41% of Windows buyers gave that rating. Linux users had 84% lower support costs, 79% lower return rates, and Linux eliminates $3.2 billion in annual costs HP pays related to Windows licensing, hardware requirements, and support burden. The economics and customer satisfaction both favor Linux decisively. HP isn't just testing this. They're committing completely. 52 million PCs annually. Second largest manufacturer globally. All going Linux default. Microsoft's Windows consumer business just lost its second largest distribution channel. Dell already did this in May, Lenovo in March. Now HP. 3 of the top 4 PC manufacturers have made Linux the default. Only Asus remains Windows default, and they're announcing their shift next month. By October 2025, finding a new PC with Windows pre-installed will be nearly impossible. You'll have to specifically request Windows and pay premium for it. The PC industry has rejected Windows, and Bill Gates, watching from outside, understands this is the end of the Windows era he created. The customer satisfaction data that sealed the decision. HP's board required definitive evidence before approving such radical shift. The data HP presented was overwhelming. From January 2024 through June 2025, HP tracked every customer who bought PC directly from HP.com, 427,000 total customers, split between Windows and Linux purchases. HP measured satisfaction, support calls, returns, and long-term usage patterns. The results shocked even Linux advocates within HP. Overall satisfaction. Linux customers rated experience 8.9 out of 10 on average. Windows customers, 6.3. That's 2 6-point gap on 1 0-point scale. Massive difference. When HP dug into why, the reasons were clear. Linux customers praised performance. Fastest computer I've ever owned. Never slows down. Boots in seconds. Windows customers complained about opposite. Slow after updates. Takes forever to boot. Gets slower over time. Linux delivered on performance promises. Windows disappointed. Ease of use surprised HP most. They expected Windows to win because of familiarity. Wrong. Linux scored 8.2 for ease of use. Windows scored 6.8. How? Linux users appreciated simplicity. No confusing privacy settings. No forced updates interrupting work. No bloatware to remove. Windows users complained constantly about complexity. Can't figure out how to disable Copilot. Why does Edge keep resetting to default? Can't stop OneDrive uploading my files. Windows's added features became burden, not benefit. Privacy ratings were devastating for Windows. Linux scored 9.4. Windows scored 4.1. More than double the gap. Linux users, I control my data. No telemetry. No ads in my operating system. Windows users, feels like it's spying on me. Can't fully disable data collection. Constant prompts to use Microsoft services. Windows monetization strategy through data collection and service promotion destroyed privacy trust. Support calls told clearest story. Linux customers, 0.3 calls per device over 1 8-month tracking period. Windows customers, 2.7 calls, 9 times difference. Linux support calls were mostly simple questions. How do I install this printer? Where's this setting? Questions resolved in 5 minutes on average. Windows support calls were problems. Update broke my computer. Can't access files after update. System running extremely slow. Problems taking 35 minutes average to resolve. The support burden difference was enormous. Return rates validated everything else. Linux returns 1.6% within 30 days. Windows returns 12.3%, nearly 8 times higher. Exit surveys showed Windows returns were overwhelmingly Windows problems. 67% cited performance below expectations. 24% cited update issues. Only 9% were normal retail reasons, like changed mind or bought wrong size. Linux returns were almost entirely normal retail reasons. 71% changed mind about purchase. 18% hardware defect. 11% other. The product itself wasn't the problem. Windows was the problem. HP's CFO presented the financial analysis. Every Linux PC sold versus Windows PC saved HP $147 in total costs. $63 licensing savings. $38 reduced hardware requirements. $31 lower support costs. $15 lower return processing costs. On 52 million annual units, if HP converted 100% to Linux, that's $7.64 billion saved annually. Even converting 80% while keeping 20% Windows for customers who absolutely need it. $6.1 billion annual savings. The board voted unanimously to proceed. The data was irrefutable. The manufacturing transformation that enables it. HP's commitment to Linux default required complete manufacturing transformation. They started planning in November 2024, worked with Canonical, Ubuntu, and Red Hat to develop HP-optimized Linux distributions, custom hardware integration, driver optimization, pre-configured software bundles, professional look and feel, matching HP's brand. The goal was Linux that felt premium and polished, not hobbyist. Hardware procurement changed fundamentally. Windows 11 forced HP to use recent generation processors, specific RAM configurations, certain storage types. Linux eliminated those constraints. HP negotiated new processor, deals with AMD and Intel. Custom low-power chips optimized for Linux scheduler, not available to Windows PC manufacturers because Windows can't utilize them efficiently. HP's Linux laptops will have 30% better battery life than equivalent Windows laptops. Not from bigger batteries, from processors and OS that don't waste power. Memory strategy became aggressive advantage. Windows 11 needs 8 GB minimum for acceptable performance. Practical minimum for good experience is 16 GB. Linux runs beautifully on 8 GB for typical consumer use. HP's budget Linux laptops ship with 8 GB standard. Competitors' Windows budget laptops struggle with 8 GB. HP's mid-range models ship with 16 GB. Same price as competitors' 8 GB Windows laptops. HP provides better specs at same price because Linux eliminates licensing costs and enables cheaper component choices. Storage is similar advantage. Windows 11 needs 256 GB minimum, practically because updates consume massive space. Linux needs 128 GB comfortably. HP's entry-level Linux laptops ship with 256 GB SSD, twice what Linux requires, but customers perceive it as generous. Premium models ship with 512 GB or 1 TB at prices competitors charge for 256 GB. Windows models, HP converts their cost savings into customer value. Better specs, lower prices, both simultaneously. That's unbeatable competitive position. The manufacturing process itself became more efficient. Installing Windows requires 45 to 60 minutes per unit. License activation, Microsoft account setup, bloatware installation, privacy configuration, testing. Linux installation takes 18 minutes. Install OS, configure drivers, basic testing. Done. HP's production lines increased throughput 33%. Same facilities, same workers, producing substantially more computers per shift because Linux installs faster. That's pure productivity gain flowing to HP's bottom line. HP's supply chain team calculated total manufacturing cost reduction. Windows laptop, $847. Average manufacturing cost including components, assembly, OS licensing, testing. Equivalent Linux laptop, $663 manufacturing cost, $184 savings per unit. HP can price Linux laptops $50, 7.5 lower than Windows equivalents, while still improving margins significantly. Or price them identically and capture full $184 as additional profit. Either strategy is viable, HP is doing both. Lower prices on budget models to gain share, higher margins on premium models to maximize profit. The flexibility is strategic advantage Windows PC manufacturers don't have. The retail revolution spreading globally. Retailers globally are embracing HP's Linux default strategy enthusiastically. Best Buy in the US gave HP's Linux laptops premium placement immediately. Featured end caps, prominent displays. Sales associate training specifically on Linux benefits. Best Buy's internal data shows Linux laptops have 76% lower return rate than Windows. Returns cost Best Buy money even though manufacturers handle refunds. Lower returns mean higher profitability per sale. Best Buy is actively pushing customers toward Linux to reduce their operational costs. Best Buy's sales training materials obtained by The Verge explicitly instruct associates, lead with Linux for customers who use computers for web browsing, streaming, email, and office work. That's 80% of customers. Only recommend Windows for customers with specific Windows-only software requirements or strong preference. Best Buy calculated they save $43 per Linux laptop sold versus Windows in reduced return processing and support costs. They're passing some savings to customers through better promotions while keeping some as margin improvement. Everyone benefits except Microsoft. Walmart took even more aggressive approach. They're selling HP Linux laptops as premium house brand exclusive. Walmart PC powered by Linux branding, starting at $299. That's $100 less than comparable Windows laptops. Walmart's marketing: the computer that just works. No complicated setup, no forced updates, no hidden fees, just works. Walmart's customer demographic is price sensitive. Linux enabling $299 functional laptop creates massive volume. Walmart sold 340,000 HP Linux laptops in June 2025 alone, more than any single Windows laptop model from any manufacturer. European retailers embraced Linux even faster. MediaMarkt across Germany and other European countries gave HP Linux laptops 60% of laptop display space. Windows relegated to smaller section. MediaMarkt's CEO explained in interview, "Our customers want computers that work reliably and respect privacy. Linux delivers both. Windows increasingly doesn't. We're responding to customer preference. European consumers are privacy conscious. Windows data collection turned them off. Linux's privacy respect makes it preferred choice." UK's Currys PC World made similar shift. Their TV advertising features HP Linux laptops exclusively. The laptop revolution. Faster, simpler. Yours. Shows person unboxing HP Linux laptop. Using it effortlessly. No update screens, no interruptions. Just working. Currys reports 67% of laptop customers now choose Linux when given proper comparison. Windows is minority choice. That flip happened in under 6 months. Market preference shifted completely once viable alternative was presented properly. Asian markets tell even more dramatic story. Japan's major electronics retailers Bic Camera, Yodobashi Camera, Yamada Denki featured HP Linux laptops prominently. Japanese consumers appreciate quality and reliability. Linux's superior reliability resonated. Sales exceeded projections by 180%. South Korea's largest retailers saw similar enthusiasm. HP's Linux laptops became status symbol. Smart users choose Linux became social media trend. Windows increasingly viewed as outdated corporate mandate. Linux viewed as modern, efficient choice for informed consumers. India and Southeast Asia saw explosive Linux adoption. Price sensitivity is extreme. Windows licensing adds $60, 80 to laptop cost. That's enormous in markets where average laptop costs $380. Linux eliminating that cost makes laptops accessible to millions more customers. HP's Linux laptops became bestsellers across Amazon, India, Flipkart, Lazada, Shopee. Reviews consistently praise value and performance. Windows not missed because most Asian consumers use smartphones as primary computing device. Laptops are secondary work tools. Linux is perfectly adequate, often superior because of better performance on modest hardware. The global retail revolution shows Windows isn't universally wanted. It was tolerated as default because no alternative existed at scale. HP provided that alternative with full manufacturer backing, comprehensive retail distribution, and professional implementation. Customers are choosing Linux overwhelmingly, not because they're Linux enthusiasts, because it's better product for their needs. Faster, more reliable, more private, cheaper, better. That's unbeatable combination. The enterprise pilot that shocked everyone. HP's enterprise division ran comprehensive Linux pilot from January through June 2025. Selected 85 companies across industries, 2,000 to 15,000 employees each. Offered to replace 50% of their Windows PCs with Linux at no charge for 6-month trial. Goal was proving enterprise viability. Results exceeded expectations dramatically. Participating companies deployed Linux to employees whose work didn't require Windows-specific applications. Web developers, customer service, sales, marketing, HR, finance teams using web-based systems. Collectively, 34,000 employees got Linux workstations. HP tracked everything: productivity, support tickets, employee satisfaction, security incidents, total cost of ownership. Every metric favored Linux. Productivity was neutral to positive, no productivity decline. Some roles showed productivity increases because Linux didn't interrupt work with forced updates. One company's customer service team showed 7% productivity improvement on Linux. Reason: Windows updates periodically crashed their CRM software. Linux was stable, no crashes, no update interruptions, just worked consistently. Support tickets dropped 71% for Linux workstations. Windows support tickets, 2.4 per employee annually on average. Linux, 0.7 per employee. The reduction was even more dramatic for high-severity tickets. Windows had 0.8 high-severity tickets per employee annually. Linux, 0.1. The tickets that consume most IT time: system crashes, update failures, malware infections were nearly eliminated with Linux. Employee satisfaction surprised companies. Before pilot, IT departments worried employees would rebel against Linux. Opposite happened. Employee satisfaction with Linux workstations, 84% positive. Windows workstations, 62% positive. Exit surveys showed employees appreciated Linux's speed and reliability. Comments: never waiting for updates. Computer always ready when I am. No mysterious slowdowns. The dreaded forced Windows migrations employees hated. Employees loved the forced Linux migration. Security metrics strongly favored Linux. 0 malware infections on Linux workstations during 6-month pilot. Windows workstations, 47 infections across 34,000 employees. That's 0.14% infection rate. Still concerning. Still requiring remediation time and costs. Linux's 0 infections was decisive security advantage. Ransomware attempts that locked Windows PCs failed completely on Linux. Phishing attacks that installed spyware on Windows couldn't execute on Linux. The security difference was substantial. Total cost of ownership calculation was overwhelming. Windows Workstation, $1,847 per employee over 3-year lifecycle. Includes hardware, $900. Windows license, $150. Support costs, $487. Security incidents, $280. Productivity loss from updates, $30. Linux Workstation, $1,121 per employee over 3 years. Hardware, $720. Cheaper because Linux's lower requirements. 0 OS licensing. Support costs, $142. Security incidents, $19. No productivity loss. That's $726 savings per employee over 3 years. Companies with 10,000 employees could save $7.26 million over 3 years by moving 80% to Linux. Companies with 50,000 employees, $36.3 million. The savings are enormous, and pilot companies prove there's no downside. Productivity maintained, employee satisfaction improved, security enhanced, support burden reduced. Every metric improved while cutting costs dramatically. HP closed 37 enterprise Linux deals in June 2025. Largest was manufacturer with 28,000 employees. They're migrating 19,000 to Linux over 18 months. That's $13.8 million saved over 3 years. Second largest was insurance company with 15,000 employees. Migrating 11,000 to Linux, $7.99 million saved. The enterprise Linux wave is starting. It will accelerate. Every successful deployment becomes case study, encouraging others to migrate. The panic revealed Microsoft's weakness. They have no response to Linux that works. Can't compete on price free is unbeatable. Can't compete on customer satisfaction, Linux objectively performs better. Can't compete on manufacturer economics, Linux saves manufacturers money on every metric. Microsoft's only strategy was begging HP to stay with subsidies and threatening retaliation. Both failed. HP proceeded with Linux strategy regardless. Microsoft lost their second largest PC distribution channel and has no way to get it back. Where this stands. August 2025. HP eliminated Windows as default. Dell did it in May. Lenovo in March. Asus announcing August 1st. By September, finding new PC with Windows pre-installed will be nearly impossible unless you specifically request and pay premium for Windows. The entire PC industry rejected Windows simultaneously. Linux is now standard. Windows is niche. Microsoft's consumer Windows revenue is collapsing. Generated $22 billion in 2023. Projected $11 billion in 2026. 50% decline in 3 years. Enterprise Windows remains stable for now, but also at risk as HP's enterprise pilots prove Linux viability. Microsoft's most profitable product is dying. Satya Nadella has no strategy that reverses this. The damage is done. The industry moved on. Bill Gates watches from outside. Understands Windows era is over. The product he built, the foundation of Microsoft's success, declining into irrelevance because current leadership optimized for short-term revenue extraction over long-term user satisfaction and partner relationships. The manufacturers rejected Windows not because Linux is dramatically better, though it is better in many ways, but because Microsoft made Windows unacceptable through forced updates, privacy violations, bloatware, and escalating costs. Microsoft did this to themselves, and Gates sees that clearly. That manufacturer economics favor Linux decisively. That enterprise pilots prove Linux works for majority of business users. HP dropped Windows. The industry followed, and Microsoft's 4-0-year dominance in PCs is over. Bill Gates built that dominance. Current Microsoft leadership destroyed it, and the Windows era Gates created is ending, not with dramatic failure. With quiet irrelevance as the industry moves on to better alternatives, Microsoft's own behavior made necessary.